Hi guys, and today we are going to be reviewing Chapter 15, Plant Processes. I know we covered some of this, or pretty much all of this, before we went on spring break, but it's been a couple of weeks, and you guys have an upcoming test. So I wanted to spend today just reviewing the chapter with you and going into a little more detail about certain things. So let's go ahead and get started. And if you hear weird noises or stuff, you are probably going to see it. Okay. All right. So before we begin, say hi to Hearth. Okay. This is our youngest cat, and he is a troublemaker. So hopefully he won't be interrupting us too much, but yeah. So say hi, Hearth. All right, go play somewhere else, please. Sorry about that. Okay, so these are all the vocabulary terms for the chapter, okay? And I cannot stress enough that you guys need to know your key terms, all right? This next test will only cover Chapter 15, and there will be a lot of questions concerning the key terms, so please make sure you know them. And I have some allergies, so I'm sorry I'm sniffling. All right, so we're going to talk about, or we're going to review vascular tissue. Remember, there are two types of vascular tissue in plants. There are xylem and phloem, and both of them are used to transport nutrients and water throughout the plant. All right, so how it works is that the water moves through the plant through a process called transpiration, okay? And that's where the water gets released through the stomata of the leaves of the plant. And as it's getting released, more water will come into the area that was empty to fill it up. And it will continue doing this. This is how water can move up giant sequoias against the flow of gravity. Once the water leaves the stomata, there's a space there that needs to be filled, so water goes up the xylem to fill it. All right, so roots absorb the water and the minerals. The only way that a plant can get watered is through the roots, okay? And basically what happens is that the minerals will adhere to the water molecules and come in through the plant that way. So that's how plants get their minerals as well. Water is pulled up from the top, so it's not like, it's kind of like it's pulled up into the plant, so it travels upward because of cohesive properties, and it goes against the flow of gravity. All right, going through my notes here. All right. All right, so capillary action. So if you look where it says capillary action, do remember that capillary action is where the water just kind of piles up on each other because of its polarity. Okay, now cohesion tension theory is where it's a belief that as transpiration occurs, the leaves are, have their space, and so water gets pulled up to fill in that space. Okay, for a more detailed explanation of that, look at page 286 in your textbook. All right. As water is moving up the xylem, the water will enter into the central vacuole. Remember, the plants are going to stay plump and firm because of something called trigger pressure, and that's where the water inside the central vacuole is pressing against outward. Okay. And just remember that most of the water is released into the atmosphere as water vapor. All right. Phloem is the vascular tissue that carries the sugar. Okay. Does it in the form of sap. Okay. So sugar needs to reach every part of the plant. Remember, cellular respiration still has to take place. Okay. And it's created in a source, which would be cells that manufacture the sugar, and then they want the cells that require the sugar are called sinks. Okay, so there is a theory called pressure flow hypothesis, where plants will move sugars through the phloem in the same way as water is moved in the xylem. Okay. So a more detailed explanation of that is found on page 287. Okay, so phloem sap will always move towards the sinks. Okay, remember that. And these are questions that you guys can answer. I would definitely recommend reviewing the questions at the end of the chapters, especially since we're not going to be in class for a while. All right, so plant hormones. Okay, plant hormones. This is section 15B, so plant responses. Hormones are messenger molecules that produce a response in other tissues. Okay. There are 5 types of hormones that we're going to talk about. We have abscisic acid. Okay. This is an inhibitor of other plant hormones that is pretty much its only its function. It slows cell growth and cell division. Okay. Auxins are produced in the apical meristem, and they promote cell elongation and they suppress cell division. Okay. Cytokinins will promote cell division, and they work with auxins to control growth and division of cells. Ethylene is a gas, and basically it is the only one that is a gas, and it causes fruit to ripen. Too much buildup and it will over-ripen and cause the fruit to spoil. Okay. And then gibberellins are hormones that encourage stem elongation and cell division in the shoots and leaves. Okay. So those are the 5 main